Good evening, I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. The college football head coaching carousel continues on as former Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald has signed a 5-year contract with Michigan State, and John Summerall just received a 6-year deal from Florida to be their new head coach. More Lane Kiffin news as he has a unique clause in his 7-year deal with LSU stating that he will receive a payment equal to the amount he would have earned for coaching Ole Miss in the college football playoff. In hockey, tonight at 7, the Jackets look to get back on track after dropping their past 4. They take on the New Jersey Devils. You can hear it right here on the Fan. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30. Up in Cleveland, the Cavaliers are also looking to end a 3-game slide as tonight they play the Pacers at 7. And then tonight, Monday Night Football, Giants Patriots at 8:15. This update was sponsored by Green & Sons, family owned and operated for over 45 years. Find your next Kubota tractor at Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and north of Marysville and Raymond. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's standing away. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh! Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on Reaction Monday. I am Brandon Beam. We got our guy, A-Ward Sports, Austin Ward, Isaiah behind the glass. Austin, it feels good to finally be able to do a show after a Buckeye victory against Michigan. We did it on Saturday, me and Justin Zwick. I know that you've been doing it. Did the Rooster Show a little bit earlier today, which you can go watch on the YouTube page. But hey, let's just recap it again.
Okay.
All right, let's just recap it
I
again.
could talk about this team and this game for the next 6 days straight.
Where do you, and when we will. We will. We're going to get to Indiana on Saturday. It'll be fine. That game will eventually get here. We'll turn our attention when we need to, but not tonight.
No,
Not
sir.
Tonight. To you, I mean, what's your biggest talking point coming out of the game other than them just beating Michigan? Because it was its own talking point, I feel like, in its own world, right? Getting over that hump. It had been, 2,191 days since Ohio State had defeated Michigan. You got to do it again. You got to go up in the cold. It's going to be snowy out. Can you do it in the elements? Like, with all that going on.
Yep.
And it wasn't even close at the end of the day. It was a incredible victory by the Buckeyes on Saturday.
It was complete and utter domination.
Yep.
And there's a level of appreciation I have for the way that Ohio State went about it and the way that Ryan Day managed it. We talked about it on the Buckeye Show last week, Beamer, with keeping the routine. Is that going to work? All these details, keeping even a Wednesday night availability, having the media in there, all these things, moving the band appearance, how they were going to set up Thanksgiving to try and have practice the same way. Was that going to work? All that ultimately mattered was that Ryan Day wound up approaching this game on Saturday the way he does every other week of the year, every other practice of the year, every day, moment, opportunity. He capitalized on it. He doesn't have to change who he is to win the rivalry game. The Buckeyes don't have to change who they are to win gold pants.
You need to be yourself, and that's what they were.
And they were, they could have won that game by more, but also the way that they've approached this entire year. And I know that you and I had this debate. Would he run up the score? Would he gloat after the game? What would Ohio State want to do if they had this opportunity to have that cathartic victory? It was the same as they've handled every other game. That 20-play, 12-minute drive was the epitome of what they've done in every other game this year. But the only reason...
I don't know if it was that.
The reason... I mean, maybe not. Maybe the rushing success was the best that it's been all year. Maybe we could say that that's a little bit... But in terms of methodical, suffocating, slower pace of play, control the ball, rely on your defense, lean on your defense to win the game. They did that the same way that they've done in virtually every game this year. What I think makes that particular drive and the way that the second half worked resonate even more was that the criticism of the last 4 years and the way that a couple of those games ended was Michigan would have those drives.
Yeah.
The body blows,
right?
back-breaking body blows, controlling the clock and running the football down Ohio State's throat. And they completely flipped that. And what Ohio State has done this year and what Ryan Day has built with this program is a roster and a coaching staff and a game plan that is equally adept at playing Michigan's game or Texas's game or Penn State's game anyone you want to throw at them.
They're a chameleon.
And even if you want to put them in a snow globe, or if you want to put them on grass, or you want to anything you want to throw their way, they can handle it. And that was all encapsulated in one afternoon at the Big House, which is why I think it means even more to Ohio State fans. To the Ohio State team itself, even after the game, Beamer, they still treated this one like they did the previous 11. There's significance to it, and they're going to cherish those gold pants and what it means to have snapped a losing streak. That's a conversation for a lot of them for a decade from now. They already had flipped the switch on Saturday. Sonny Styles came into the postgame before Ryan Day. So, yeah, this feels great. We accomplished a goal, but we want to go to Indianapolis and win the Big Ten next week.
Yeah, we're not done. They immediately shut the page on the book.
Already on to the next one. And
that's not any different than what they have been for this entire year.
But that's why I think everything last week, including the performance on the field, and even the way that the preparation for it and the level of celebration after it matched the way that they had treated every single other game, this opportunity in front of them. They maximized it, and then they moved on to the next one.
Yeah, they did, and that's exactly what they did. It was a pretty, I'm going to say, nonchalant victory for them in terms of everything that they do and the game plan and the professional mindset that this team has. You were up in Ann Arbor on Saturday. What was it like down on the field? What was it like in the tunnel? Obviously saw a lot of different videos and pictures and everything of Michigan players standing on the Block M at the 50-yard line, Ohio State players celebrating with their fans. Maybe peel the curtain back for us a little bit because, again, like they knew the talk. They handled it with the biggest bit of professionalism that they possibly could and weren't going to do anything.
The other team didn't.
No, but you saw Ryan Day go over to Stromore like, hey, we're not doing any of that. Like, let's, we're going to get off the field. We're going to celebrate a little bit. It was a pretty wild hindsight moment there at the very end of the game. And Isaiah brought up a great point in our little pre-show meeting. He said, well, when did that meeting happen that these players were going to do this? Was there some sort of like, and we know we're going to bend the knee this year? Was that a Sharon Moore thing? Was it a players-only meeting? That what are we going to do if we lose? I don't know. It was just it was a very wild scene there at the end when you compare that to what happened 365 days prior in the Horseshoe.
Yeah, I mean, they wrote a check a year ago that they weren't going to be able to cash on Saturday. So they certainly had plenty of time in the second half to get together on sideline. Hey, let's forget about this game plan. We can't win. We need to. The only defense we're going to play is on the Block M once the clock hits 0. They were, and it's going to sound like we are on the Buckeye Show, and it's going to sound like
yes, that's the title of the show.
I know, but it's going to sound like that it's coming from a place of bias. I'm just telling you, the way that Michigan played before, during, and after the game, the way that they acted was honestly like disgusting to watch. And so a lot of people, my vantage point, you asked me specifically, as that conversation was happening with Ryan Day and Sharon Moore on the field, as a number of those Wolverines were trying to surround the Block M, some of the security and the coaching staff got a number of those players into the tunnel, which is where I was. That's where most of the nonsense and shenanigans occurs annually, because it is the worst location in all of college football, maybe in all of college sports, maybe in all of sports, period. Nothing is ever structured this way, and it is always disaster. So once you thought, okay, this is calming down, Ohio State has given its word. It does not want to plant a flag at midfield. There were certainly some players who were interested in doing so, who were part of that loss last season. They said, no, we're not doing that. Ryan Day said, we're going to win with humility, and we're going to go celebrate in the locker room. All right. I didn't count exactly. There was at least 20, could have been 30 Wolverines that decided to wait at the bottom of the tunnel. You had security trying to separate Ohio State, getting one team into the locker room before the other to avoid this whole situation. And they were waiting for an ambush. They were waiting to continue the fisticuffs, the posturing, the fake tough that we had seen on display publicly throughout that game. They wanted to do even more of that afterwards. To the credit of a couple of those guys, Tonelli being one of them, they finally got some of their teammates. We have 364 days until we get another shot at them. Go to the locker room. Let's get out of here. And finally, slowly, many of them did. But they were waiting to try and do even more of that in the tunnel. That's where I was. It's an absolute fact that was what happened. And I was
Berm ready to scrap down there?
Berm was out there taking photos of a jubilant crew of Buckeyes. they were still celebrating with fans. They were doing the high fives. They were getting, all of that stuff. And then he was separated by security. So I was in that tunnel. I was like, someone's going to have to document this, potentially for the legal authorities, not for officials, which has.
Same thing happened with
unfortunately,
them and Sparty
has happened
ago, right?
between Michigan and Michigan State. Like, once that game is over, it's no longer up to the Big Ten Zebras to come bail you out. That becomes a criminal offense. And so maybe I'll just stay right here. Now, that's a dangerous place to be, and maybe the phone wouldn't have survived. But that was the choice I made.
I'm just, in an alternate reality, envisioning you in the middle of gigantic college football players, trying to see you handling your own and just getting bounced wall to wall, shoulder pad to helmet, and you not knowing which way is up in that fracas.
You don't think I could have handled my own in that situation?
I think you can stand your ground, but
because I can't.
I don't.
Yeah, because I can't.
No.
I would have been terrified if it got to the level of Michigan State. I was on edge as it was, but it was just like I don't want to abandon my post down there, and I knew that Ohio State wasn't looking for that. Hold the line. And it just, to me, it summed up everything that happened up to that point, which was Michigan was trying to bait Ohio State into penalties and trash talk and taunting. And sometimes the Buckeyes took that bait. Sometimes they got pushed over the edge. Sometimes they got too agitated. You had one called on Jermaine Matthews who, unfortunately that wasn't listed as a prop bet, or I would have absolutely taken it. Philip Daniels got off the bus looking like he wanted to murder somebody. Surprised that Luke
Not
Montgomery.
Not that much different than what he looks like normally.
Yeah, than a normal situation. But, Luke Montgomery got one. Miles Lockhart. And I knew that this was going to happen because they targeted in all due respect to Miles Lockhart, the smallest guy on Ohio State's kickoff return unit on all of the first 3 kickoffs. They were doing that all the way down the field with the multiple guys going after him. I said, well, either they're going to get called for it or Miles Lockhart's going to at some point. Hopefully it's both and they can just end this stuff. But that was going on from the very first start of this game. And I know that's part of what makes it great, the physicality, the bragging rights, the intensity that goes on with it. But, and I don't want to pretend like Ohio State is always blameless in this because sometimes they're not.
Of course not.
But there is one side that takes it to the edge and beyond. And it's the same one that was cutting off communication to Ohio State's sideline again.
You mean the one that headbutted a referee, got a 2-yard penalty, then nothing else happened of it?
One and the same.
What did it sound like after the Buckeyes rounded out their undefeated season against Michigan on Saturday? That's coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun, your way. That means every few minutes across Ohio, 20 out of 80 possible numbers are randomly picked. And if some of the numbers you pick match, voila, you're a winner. Keno doesn't require you to know a single thing about sportsball or overs, unders, pluses, minuses, or lines, or whatever else. Keno is as simple as, did some of my numbers match? They did? Great. You just raked in some dough. There are more than 20 hours of Keno draws every day and thousands of places to play statewide. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Toyota-thon is on. Get in the spirit of the season with a new Toyota. Now through December 1st, get $3,000 customer cash on remaining new 25 Tundras. Or get 0.99 APR financing plus $1,000 TFS APR cash. With approved credit through TFS, excludes TRD Pro, APR cash must be applied to deal. And every new Toyota comes with 2 years no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up, but it was tough.
Ohio State National Championship quarterback and former CareSource kid, Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction, but I also needed the right support system. Seeing that CareSource heart around town, I just knew they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. This is so much more than health insurance. CareSource, today and always. Trusted. Visit caresource.com.
Picture it. Your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps, spiced cider in every glass, laughter around every plate. At Kroger, we know these moments matter, and we make it easier to bring them to life with quality that's affordable in every aisle. This season, don't just host, make every moment unforgettable. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Paul Keels here, voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeye MVP membership upgrade for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
New creamy parm pizzas are now at Donato's. A decadent new sauce on 2 delicious new pizzas. Try the crave-worthy chicken veggie parm with roasted chicken, fresh veggies, and that rich creamy parm base. Or the savory bacon spinach parm, where smoky bacon meets fresh spinach for parm pizza perfection. Craving something different? Create your own creamy parm pizza today. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cloudy skies, but at least we're dry on this Monday. Temperatures in the low to mid 30s. Overnight, we'll drop back down to the upper 20s, but a winter weather advisory in effect. 2 to 3 inches of snow likely by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning. Snow out early, mostly cloudy skies, and a cool finish with highs only in the low 30s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
We're very close to Buckeye football. Very close. Uncomfortably close. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Get you out to New Jersey coming up here at 6:30. Got the Jackets in action, looking to stop their 4-game slide. You know what? That game's going to come up here, but let's live in the past. Let's live in Saturday and see how this feels.
Now all they have to do is take a knee and take the victory back to Ohio and Columbus. Outstanding performance by this Ohio State football team. It's taken a while, 4 years, since they've been able to enjoy a victory over Michigan.
They're going to have some offensive players get behind Julian Sand as we have 40 seconds and counting on the fourth quarter clock. This will end a losing streak that has been a big shadow over the Ohio State program. Sand under center, takes the snap, takes the knee. And that's going to do it. Ohio State defeats Michigan 27-9, finishing the regular season undefeated and headed to the Big Ten championship game to meet the Indiana Hoosiers as a gateway to the college football playoff once again. The final score, 27-9, Ohio State over Michigan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Take a break. Boom. It's a great job out of Paul and Jim. Obviously, they're two of the best in the business, the best in the business. And I know that they had to be super pumped being able to say that. You heard there, Paul, talking about it, that, you know, this has been a cloud over this Ohio State program for the last number of years. I'm like, that's been the cloud. Yeah. It's been the cloud. It's really been the only one. And I know that it was quite the breakthrough that they had last year. But Austin, I remember you and me doing shows for constantly 2 straight weeks leading into the playoff game against Tennessee, and just the heat that was in here, the intensity from Ohio State fans, and certainly rightfully so. And for them to crack through on the other side and win a national championship. The whole season, the whole off season this year, all that was being talked about was, well, can you do it in Ann Arbor? Can you go up there and beat them? And they did, and they beat them like a war drum, and they beat them exactly how they've beaten everybody else this season.
Yeah. What are they going to say about Ryan Day now, Beamer?
Did he break Michigan?
What kind of criticism can actually be leveled at this guy? I mean, he's done everything that you possibly can.
Yep.
Now he wants to go add another piece of hardware and some jewelry on Saturday night against Indiana. I tell you what, I had this thought, which was the College Football Playoff Selection Committee will put out their rankings tomorrow night. Both Indiana and Ohio State are in position where they should have clinched first-round buys. I don't think...
Kurt Cignetti disagrees with that, too, by the way.
I think both Ryan Day and Kurt Cignetti will say that they want to and are going to try to win fully. I think they both put themselves in a position where they deserve buys, and I don't see how the selection committee, based on the way they handled last year, can penalize either one.
100% agreed.
So with all of that even said, it was like, well, do you want to take a risk with Carnell or Jeremiah? Like, could you rest somebody if you need to? Like, does it truly matter? And then as soon as you even entertain those notions, you talk to anyone inside the Woody, anyone after the game, immediately after they beat Michigan, they're still saying, yes, we want it. Goal number 2 is to win the Big Ten. Say, okay.
What was goal number 1?
That was to win the game,
Okay.
Get some gold pants, beat their rival.
Check.
So they're on to number 2. And we know that this team loves routine, that the standard is the standard, that the goals are what they're chasing. The next one is to win on Saturday night. And anytime you put a scenario like this in front of a group of high-achieving players, high-achieving coaches, a program with the highest possible standards in the country, and you say it's number 1 versus number 2, and they're going to give somebody a trophy after it's over, there is no even hesitation in their mind. Okay,
no,
we're going 100 miles an hour, going to try and win that game. The atmosphere is going to be awesome. I'm glad we have a full week of it.
But it's going to be one of the best atmospheres you've ever had in a Big Ten championship game. Indiana, who no one ever thought would get there, the closest team to Indianapolis. What is it from Bloomington? 45 minutes, an hour?
Depends on how many construction barrels are out there.
You lived in Indianapolis. It's not that far
It's like
away.
an hour, but the construction is real.
Yeah, all right. So you get them who's never been there before, coming off of a college football playoff appearance, their best ever season in program history, an hour away from their home, and then a fan base who won a national championship last year but has not been to a conference championship game since COVID. By the way, not a lot of people were able to be over there. It makes sense why the tickets are like $400 to get in the door. I get it.
Yeah, wild secondary market transpiring there for the tickets on Saturday night. But all of that was to say that as quickly and as they tried to turn the page, they would shoot down any notion in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center that they don't care about Saturday night, or that they would accept a loss, or that, if you slide out of the Rose Bowl and go to the Cotton Bowl, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. That's just you talking, Austin Ward. The Buckeyes want to go to the Rose Bowl. You zip it, okay? You bench Jeremiah and Carnell to keep them healthy so you can go to
that for personal reasons.
This press box snob wants to avoid a trip to LA. No, they want to win. So I think that will be a somewhat common talking point, national media perspective of this game. Where's game day going? Why are they not going to number 1 versus number 2? Whatever. All that stuff is not relevant. Inside the Woody and in whatever they call the practice facility in Bloomington, these two programs very much are going to push it to the limit to win. They are not trying to coast. They are not banking on the fact that they're getting a bye. And I really appreciate that, because as the playoff field has expanded, as the Big Ten has expanded, and as you can make these cases that everything comes down to just the playoff or just winning a national championship, this is something that is immediately within your control. You know what it's going to take to get to Indianapolis. You know how winning a conference championship should still matter. That is still bragging rights over the teams that you're guaranteed to play or be competing against every single year. So, no one is taking that part for granted. And as long as these guys are still getting that thumbs up from the training staff, they're all going to be giving their all on Saturday night.
Just a side note here, because I did Google what Indiana's training facility is called. You got the Woody Hayes Athletic Center here at Ohio State. Do you even have a guess to what Indiana's called? Because it's awesome.
The Cuban Center.
The John Mellencamp Pavilion.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Over at the Melly.
I forgot all about that.
That's where they're practicing at.
I just never pay that much attention when I'm in Bloomington because I know that I'm going to watch a blowout, but that's not the case.
Well, good news for you,
anymore.
buddy. You're going to Indianapolis this weekend, not Bloomington.
Well, I'm still going to see a blowout.
How about Ryan Day? What did this mean to him? This was post-game on Saturday.
Well, to tell you that the last 4 years have been easy is not true. I take the responsibility of being the head coach at Ohio State very, very seriously. So does my family, so do the players, so do the coaches. So, when, you don't accomplish those things, you take it personally. And I understand what that means. I mean, my family's been here 9 years now, so there's nobody who wants to win this game more than me. But to win this game, it's just a great moment. And it's one of those moments that you want to, just grab on for a while and just enjoy it because, just to see the joy in everybody's face is really what this thing's all about. That's what being a head coach is. It's not about you. It's not about raising trophies. It's not about winning games. It's about, pouring back into the people that are around you. When I say people, it's the players, it's the coaches, it's their families and the fans. And that's what it is. And winning just gives us an opportunity to continue to do that and make an impact. And I think, everyone and the fans and all of our supporters can recognize all the work that gets put in. And, when it doesn't go the right way, nobody wavered. We hung in there. And it isn't easy. Nothing about this profession's easy. But I'm proud of the men that we have and happy that they got this win.
From everyone on that roster, coaching staff, everyone who was in that building, I think that's what all came out on Saturday afternoon, that everyone not only was relieved, but they've spent thousands and thousands of hours over there grinding, and not only just for Michigan, but for the lofty goals and expectations that this team and fan base has come to expect. And it was finally the payoff pitch that, a guy like Sonny Styles, a guy like Lorenzo Styles, a guy like Tim Walton. Tim Walton went 0-4 as a player here against Michigan. He had gone 0-3 in his past 3 seasons here at Ohio State. He had never beaten Michigan, ever. For those guys who have spent, again, thousands of hours, and then to finally get the payoff on Saturday afternoon, I don't think anything could probably replicate that for them.
It's also why I appreciate the high road that Ryan Day took after the game. If I know with every fiber of being I have that Ryan Day holds a grudge and will forever hold a grudge about what happened in 2 of those 4 games with Connor Stallions, with Jim Harbaugh, and that he would have very much liked to have said something about that. Would have distracted from everything that he said there.
Yeah.
Giving credit to the players, the coaches, the training staff, the equipment people, everybody else, the comprehensive work.
Does it surprise you that he took that route?
Not at all. No. Not at all. He would have 2 years ago, that press conference would have been very different.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have changed anything on Saturday. It wouldn't have erased the past, but it would have distracted from what they accomplished in the moment if he had done that on Saturday. That's what the headlines would have been, instead of Ohio State won and didn't pay any attention to whatever Michigan was trying to do at block him or in the tunnel. They won, they moved on, and they're heading to Indy.
Ryan Day will be on these airwaves about 24 hours from now on Buckeye Roundtable tomorrow. We will be back on Wednesday. Everybody have an awesome night. We got Blue Jackets hockey up next right here on The Fan.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports.